amount of 4,806,639 shillings. Thirdly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 4,679,130 shillings. Fourthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 2,955,450 shillings. Fifth, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,374,400 shillings. Sixthly, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 5,451,912 shillings and 40 cents. Number 7, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,582,536 shillings and 50 cents. And number 8, on 2nd of July 2024, the amount of 3,840,625 shillings and 60 cents. A substantial portion of the Kenya shillings 100,262,821 and 43 cents was used for luxurious largesse and unnecessary expenditure for carpets, etc., laid down for the Deputy President's functions. Some of the funds were utilized as follows. A. Ian Gitata made Kenya shillings 22,800,000 in cash withdrawals. Some of the withdrawals were declared as cash to pay undisclosed beneficiaries. It was suspicious why they preferred cash payments as opposed to bank transfers. B. Kenya shillings 4 million transferred to a law firm. C. Kenya shillings 26,993,350 investment in fixed term deposits as follows. 1. On 27th of May 2024, Kenya shillings 9,993,350. 2. On 11th July 2024, Kenya shillings 17 million. The utilization of funds was reasonably believed to be an act of corruption and money laundering, as most of the money was withdrawn in cash rather than bank transfers, which is a custom for huge payments. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is reasonably suspected to be the principal beneficiary of these dubious transactions. C. St. Nicholas Rehabilitation and Industrial Training Institute Limited. The company was incorporated on 8th of April 2021 under registration number PVT-AAACMO4. It deals with student rehabilitation and industrial training, trading as St. Nicholas Rehabilitation Center and Psychiatric Hospital. The sole company director is Nicholas Mugambi Maingi. The company operates an account at Equity Bank, opened on 18th August 2017, with the company director as the sole account signatory. Between 1st March 2024 and 5th June 2024, the account received a total of Kenya shillings 21,060,000 from the office of the Deputy President. The funds were suspiciously utilized as follows. A. Kenya shillings 2 million was allegedly used to purchase a white Toyota Prado from Umarali Motors Limited for Kenya shillings 8.5 million. B. Another Kenya shillings 4 million was suspiciously transferred to Nicholas Maingi's account. A cash trail in the personal account revealed that upon receipt of the funds, Nicholas made a transfer of Kenya shillings 4,660,000 to Umarali Motors Limited on 21st March 2024. The purported payment to Umarali Motors Limited using two routes raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and money laundering. Further, prior to receipt of the two payments from the Office of the Deputy President, the account was transacting in minimal accounts, raising suspicions that the entire transaction was a conduit used by His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua to siphon public funds. The payment scheme used typifies money laundering transactions. From the matters outlined in the preceding parts, it is patently clear that there are serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, using his state office, has committed gross economic crimes, namely crimes under Section of Interest 132 abuse of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. Sections 45(1)(a), 46, 47(a)(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, and B, Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to count 7, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 8, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has continuously misled members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. To illustrate, sometime in January 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua made a sensational but false accusation that Honorable Justice Esther Maina, Judge of the High Court of Kenya, had engaged in corruption. He publicly said he would present a petition for the removal of the said judge, which he has not done to date, leading to the inevitable conclusion that he knew his allegations were false. On or about 26th of June 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, recklessly and unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the Office of the Deputy President of the Republic and his membership to the National Security Council, both being positions that require one to be a discreet and tempered leader, especially during moments of national crisis, addressed Kenyans on live television in Mombasa County and publicly made sensational statements against the National Intelligence Service, an essential national security organ, its director, and officers. The following is an excerpt of part of his speech. I quote, "The Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nurdin Haji, was a junior officer in the National Intelligence Service before he was appointed as DPP. When he was appointed to the office of the Director General, because of his inferiority complex, he chased away all the people who were senior to him when he was in the service, therefore crippling the capacity of that service and making it dysfunctional. 3 directors were chased away and reassigned to desk jobs in ministries across government. 13 assistant directors, men and women with proven track record of intelligence collection and analysis, were removed from the National Intelligence Service, leaving a shell and a clueless Director General who has no capacity to run the organization. And that is why the security sector was caught off guard by the intensity, the anger of the Kenyan people, the agitation of the Kenyan people, the resilience of the Kenyan people." End of quote. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 8, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Part C, gross misconduct, pursuant to Article 151(b)(3) of the Constitution. Ground 9, gross misconduct, that is public attacks on National Security Intelligence Service and its officers. The phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is, quote, very unpleasant, disgusting, or very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Therefore, public attacks against an essential national security organ in circumstances that require one to be discreet and tempered constitute gross misconduct. On or around 26th of June 2024, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, unmindful of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and his membership to the National Security Council, both being positions that require a leader to be discreet and tempered, especially during moments of national crisis, addressed Kenyans on live television in Mombasa County and made a scathing attack on the National Intelligence Service, an essential national security organ. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua extended the extremely reckless personal attacks to the Director General of the institution. With the unprecedented acts, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acted in a manner that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President and member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. The attacks against the National Intelligence Service and its Director General constitute gross misconduct and an impeachable offense to the extent that A, they are incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. B, they undermine national security from both internal and external points of view. C, they are incompatible with the effective discharge of the delicate and sensitive mandate of the National Intelligence Service. D, they had the potential, given the circumstances prevailing in the country at the time, to significantly diminish public confidence in the viability of the Kenyan state and its ability to protect the lives and properties of its citizens. E, they go against the constitutionally prescribed oath of allegiance of the office of the Deputy President under Article 148, 5A of the Constitution, which requires the Deputy President to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and all other laws. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 9, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 10, gross misconduct, that is insubordination. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Therefore, open or public insubordination of the President, who is the head of state and government under our constitutional framework, is gross misconduct. As stated in the preceding parts, Article 147(1) of the Constitution designates the Deputy President as the principal assistant of the President, who shall deputize for the President in the execution of the President's functions. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently undermined, demeaned, and committed insubordination instead of assisting the President in executing the state executive mandate. Instead, he has opted to run a smear campaign against the presidency for political expediency. Further, whereas Article 147(2) of the Constitution requires the Deputy President to perform the functions conferred by the Constitution and any other functions that the President may assign, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is openly sabotaging the state's efforts in agriculture, including the coffee, tea, sugar, and milk sectors, which the President tasked him to oversee. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has connived with cartels in the tea sector to block the Kenya Tea Development Agency from implementing guaranteed minimum returns that would benefit smallholder tea farmers. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has influenced his family members, allies, associates, and proxies to take control of a local cooperative society, name withheld in Madeira, which they are financially hemorrhaging. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 10, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Ground 11, gross misconduct, that is bullying. As stated in ground 9, the phrase gross misconduct generally refers to behavior that is very unpleasant, disgusting, or very rude. This is from the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Section 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act provides that a state officer shall not bully any person. Bullying includes repeated offensive behavior that is vindictive, cruel, malicious, or humiliating, and is intended to undermine a person. For the past 2 years, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has persistently bullied state and public officers. To illustrate, A, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company. Crystal Limited has submitted a fake bid bond with the sole intention of fraudulently acquiring public property. B, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely bullies public officers in national security organs whom he subjects to public attacks and humiliation. C, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua routinely summons procurement officers in ministries and state institutions and instructs them to direct the procurement of goods and services in a particular manner. D, in the presidency, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua identified public officers who he thinks stand in his way of creating dominance within government and political kingship, and he has severely threatened, intimidated, and harassed them. E, in 2023, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his position as a deputy president to intimidate public officers and a contractor to divert materials meant for the construction of the Kilifi-Malindi Road to tarmac a private road to Vipingo Beach Resort, a hotel associated with him. F, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua uses his constitutional power as deputy president solely to implement sectarian, parochial, and personal interests that seek to profit him. Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, how do you plead to ground 11? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
His Excellency the Deputy President, you may take your seat. Counsel for the National Assembly, you may proceed to respond to the objection that has been raised by Counsel